If you are an entrepreneur feeling that stress or that pressure with the holidays coming up, or even the end of year and reflecting on your goals, setting goals for the new year 2024, this video is going to give you some really practical tips that you can apply in the moment, whether you are feeling shut down and heading towards procrastination, or if you are feeling a little bit more mobilized and feeling a little bit over excited about things. So today I want to go through just a couple of tips to help you get through the next couple of weeks. This is a crazy time of year with a lot of extra stressors, and for everyone, but especially for entrepreneurs, I think this is a time of year that it gets even harder to take care of ourselves. So today I want to talk about 4 different things. First, I want to talk about the nervous system and give a really basic understanding so that you know what I'm talking about. I want to talk about what regulation is and what it's not, get really clear on some of the languaging that I'm going to use, and then go through the specific tools that I think are some of the easiest ones to apply in the moment for both that shutdown energy and for that kind of anxious high energy. So first and foremost, before we get into the tools and the tips that you can implement, I want to talk about this from the nervous system perspective, because I think anytime that we have more understanding of what we're feeling in our bodies, it can help us feel like we're managing it a little bit better, right? We like to understand things as humans. So first and foremost, I want to talk about our nervous system, because when you're feeling that shutdown, when you're feeling that paralysis of, what is the point? Why am I even doing this? Or when you're feeling that kind of amped up energy of, I've got all the things to do, I don't know how I'm going to get it done, so I just have to do the things. And to put it in holiday terms, oftentimes how this shows up can be that amped up energy of your parent or a family member saying, so when are you going to go get a real job? And you're like, but I do all the things and I have all the things, right? Or maybe your mind goes in the other direction and goes, you know what, Uncle Joey, you're right. Like this business isn't doing what I want it to do. I'm going to go into shutdown. And then all those goals and those projects that you had planned for next week kind of fall by the wayside because Uncle Joey was a dick and told you that your business isn't going to amount to anything. So those aren't just thoughts and beliefs that are running in your mind telling you you have to get more done or you have to stop doing all the things because it's not going to work anyway. That is actually in your body as well. That is your nervous system responding to both the internal and the external stimuli. Now, there are 3 main portions of the nervous system, of the autonomic nervous system. I'm not going to go into all the science here. I'm just going to try and give you the basics. But there are 3 kind of levels, let's say, because that's a really easy descriptor that gives you the visual aid. So at the bottom, we've got the dorsal nervous system. That's that shutdown energy. I don't have it today. I don't have any energy. I don't want to do the things. It's too hard. There's too much. I can't do it. Then that next level up is going to be our ventral vagal nervous system. That middle system is when we have capacity, when we can actually continue on with life. We're doing the things, we're feeling good, we're getting it done, right? Then that top third is going to be our sympathetic nervous system. That is that fight or flight response. That's that really kind of combative, screw you, Uncle Joey, I'm doing all the things, I gotta get it done. Or it's that part of your mind that goes, oh my gosh, if I don't have it done, I don't know, like I gotta, right? It's that very high energy, that anxious energy. So I'm hoping, because this whole mirror thing on videos kills me, but I'm hoping you can kind of see we've got dorsal down at the bottom, we've got ventral in the middle, and then we've got sympathetic at the top. And the reason I really like the visualization of that is because I think it helps a lot of people understand how their energy is. So if you're in shutdown, right, that's at the bottom, you're not really moving a whole lot, you're really slow, not a whole lot's getting done. What we want to do is move up into ventral, get a little bit more movement, get a little bit more action in there, right? Literally kind of speed things up a bit to bring us into ventral. Then if you are in that anxious energy or that really high go, 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 go energy, what we want to do is titrate it and bring it down into ventral, right? We want to kind of slow it down a little bit and bring it back into that main ventral vagal window of capacity. That space where you can do the things and you can enjoy it at the same time. You're not in shutdown, but you're also not in overwhelm. So that's all there's so much more that can go into the science behind it, but that I think is enough to keep us going in this conversation. So then what I'm talking about here, and what, if you are anywhere in the coaching space online, you've probably been hearing a lot about nervous system regulation. Super excited as an industry that we are embracing this. I think we all need it. This is stuff that should be taught in school at a very young age. When we talk about nervous system regulation, it is not that we always want to be inside ventral vagal. It's not about always being inside this kind of middle window of capacity. It's biologically impossible for us to always be here. And also, as human beings, it's not as much fun, right? We want to have that flow that we feel the feels, we feel the lows, we feel the highs, so that we can really experience that contrast and truly experience things as a whole. When we talk about nervous system regulation, it's not about sticking inside this middle window. It's instead about having the flexibility and the mobility between all of it. So if Uncle Joey is a dick and says, when are you going to get a real job? Your business isn't doing anything. Or what do you mean you coach people online? What do you mean you're an energy healer, right? Regulation is not about making sure that you don't get angry, right? Feel the feels. Get upset, get angry about it, absolutely. The regulation piece is that you're able to come back. The regulation piece is that you do not stay in that overwhelmed, super aggressive or combative, well, screw you, Uncle Joey, right? Same thing. If you are in that shutdown or that overwhelm where you're just stuck and you can't do any more, regulation is not about forcing yourself to get out of that and come back to that middle section. Regulation is allowing yourself that ability to stay in that moment, to honor your body's need for rest, for reflection, for recharging a little bit, and then coming back up, right? If you take literally one thing away from this, I want it to be that regulation is about that flexible movement between all three areas. It's not about always being in ventral vagal. You are not a real live human being if you are 100% in ventral vagal. You are missing out on the things that make life worth living. That includes the grief and the overwhelm, as well as all the really positive things like ecstasy or joy or pleasure, right? You don't want to be just in ventral vagal. So now that we kind of covered the basics and the science behind it, let's get into the actual practical tips of what do you do when you're in dorsal or when you're in sympathetic, right? When you're in procrastination or shutdown, or when you're in overwhelm and that really high anxiety energy. So first we're going to do dorsal, just because I think it's easier from my organization. So if you are feeling that shutdown, that total overwhelm, remember we're in the bottom tier. So what we want to do is effectively add a little bit of movement, add a little bit of life and a little bit of speed into things, right? So one of the easiest ways to do this is to actually look for external stimuli. Because if you are deep, deep, deep within that shutdown, you probably don't have the ability to do it yourself to get yourself out of that, right? Think of, this is not like, I'm not a clinical practitioner or anything like that, but think of someone with severe depression. If you have severe depression or you struggle with it yourself, you know that there are days that you cannot find the motivation or the tool or the whatever to get yourself out of it. But sometimes you can call a friend or a family member or someone you're safe with. You can listen to really good music that kind of gets you out of that and gives a little bit more movement, right? Maybe an hour into listening to some of your favorite songs, you catch yourself kind of bebopping along to it or singing along to it. That's actually bringing you closer to ventrovagal, closer to that middle section. So that can look like things like listening to music, watching a good television show or movie or documentary, getting together with loved ones who you feel safe with, going out into nature and just feeling Mother Earth beneath your feet or the wind on your face, connecting with animals or nature, right? Trees, plants, dogs, cats, birds, whatever it may be. That can be a really simple tool that, if you're able to, helps you get out of that dorsal shutdown, brings you up closer to that window of capacity. Some other ones that you can do as well are really slow micro movements. So, right? And this is holiday stress, this is end of year stress, this is regular life. This does not just apply to entrepreneurs, but again, I think that this is a really critical time of year for entrepreneurs especially, or business owners of any kind. So, any kind of micro movement. This can literally be, again, depending on the severity of the shutdown, sitting in your couch or your comfy chair, or you're laying in bed, and you're just like slowly moving your head back and forth, right? Or maybe in a business perspective, it is scrolling Instagram, not necessarily for inspiration, but maybe, right? Maybe it is listening to a song and allowing your body to move as it wants to, releasing that energy, moving that energy, and literally getting rid of that overwhelm and that procrastination or that shutdown energy inside your body. So it's slow movement. The last tool, and there are so many tools. I'm going through some of the more basic ones that you can apply pretty easily in a lot of different situations. The next one I'm going to share with the dorsal is a body scan, right? And the more comfortable you are with your body and like the more you've done inner work and things like that, the more that this will make sense. But it's literally just allowing yourself to go ahead and close your eyes and then scan your body for where there might be tension, where there might be stuck energy, where there might be a little bit of movement, right? So it can be as simple as kind of sitting there. I'm obviously not going to go through this in live time. I'm not going to make you sit here while I do a body scan, but it could just be sitting there, kind of tuning out the rest of the world. This is a great thing. This is going to sound really weird probably. This is a great thing to do, that if you are in a really stressful situation over the holidays, go to the bathroom. Go sit in the toilet or stand in the bathroom, close the door, and just close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and out. And scan your body. Are your shoulders hiked up to your ears? Release them. Do you feel a pit in your stomach? Can you give your belly a little bit of love, right? Introducing those micro movements. This can also, as you're doing your body scan and seeing what you're feeling to be present or not present, because absence is also important here, it can also look like some really light body touching, right? To bring you back into the present moment. When you're starting to feel that shutdown, you're starting to disconnect from where you are in present moment. So when you physically bring yourself back to being like, okay, I can feel, I can give myself a little bit of a squeeze all the way down, right? I'm not like death squeezing my arm here, but I'm just giving a little bit of a squeeze, bringing awareness to my body. You can start opposite hand to opposite shoulder, down the arm, all the way down to the hand, giving little squeezes throughout. And it's going to help bring you back to present moment. It's going to help you stop that disconnection, right? And then from a balance perspective, you always want to do the other side as well, right? Show all of the arms and hands some love. So those are just a few tools from a shutdown perspective that can help bring you out of that shutdown back to present moment. from the visual that we created, it's going to take us from that shutdown and start to bring us closer to that window of capacity, giving us that movement, right? Helping us to regulate between all three of the phases. So now let's move into some practical tips that you can apply when you might be in that sympathetic or that really high energy, sometimes that combative or aggressive energy. So you can still do a body scan here. You can absolutely still scan your body, deep breaths. Where do I feel it? Do I feel my hands tightening into fists? Does my face feel flushed? Is there heat at the back of my neck? Do I have a lot of energy in my legs? I want to start running. Is there a lot of energy in my throat? Do I want to start yelling? So a body scan is always a great tool, always a great tool to connect with your body and see where you're feeling it in the physical being. Because again, it's not all inside of our heads. And then start moving, right? And this can look like a million different things. This can look like, going for a run, going for a walk, doing a strength workout, a cardio workout, any kind of exercise that's literally going to take that energy that's like boiling in your body and release it somewhere else, right? This can also look like intuitive movement. So it doesn't have to be a big run. It doesn't have to be anything special. This can also be excusing yourself and going into the bathroom at a family or a friend gathering over the holidays, putting on a song really quietly on your phone and just moving your body, right? And just letting it be. Maybe that looks like you jumping up and down, right? Like just getting that energy out. Maybe that looks like you just like going like this, right? Literally shaking that energy out of your body. Anything that really allows you to release that. What we're doing here, especially similar to when we talked about it with the dorsal, is we're taking that energy that is running around in our body. I want you to think of like high school science class when they showed little pictures of the electrons and the atoms like bouncing all the way around. When you're in sympathetic, that's what's happening inside your body. You've got all this energy just like with nowhere to go, and it's just inside your body and it's going all over the place. So when you can put on music, and maybe you don't need music, I need music. Maybe you don't need music, but you just let your body move the way it wants to move, right? And just let it do that for as long as it needs to. You can do that in fancy clothes. You can do that in pajama bottoms, right? That is one of the tools that I think can be very accessible for a lot of people. Not everyone, but can be really accessible. Now, if you felt a lot of energy in your throat center, right? You're like, but I have so much to say to Uncle Joey, and I wanted to say everything to everybody. Can you excuse yourself and go out to the car and scream in the car? Or can you be the person that goes, when we're talking about holiday gatherings, that goes to the store and picks up more ice and just scream in your car and verbalize it? Vocalize it, not verbalize it. Just let there be noise. It doesn't have to be words. It can be grunting, screaming, crying, chanting, just making noise. Because if you're feeling a lot of energy in your throat area, it needs to come out. Because when you stifle it down, it stifles a lot more than just your communication. So again, though that movement piece is really extra critical if you are in that kind of high anxiety, lots of energy in the body. You need to put that energy somewhere. You need to release that energy somewhere. Because if all you've got is this energy kind of running around inside your body and it doesn't have a place to go safely, it doesn't actually dissipate. You might like tamp it down, but it still at some point needs to go somewhere. So we covered a lot in this video. Again, I'm naming this and calling this a taking care of yourself over the holidays, entrepreneur edition, But this is really applicable every single day for every single person. It's a way of regulating your nervous system, because that anxiety or that shutdown that you're feeling is not just your mind telling you something. It's not just a matter of, well, I've got to work through this because I've got too much work to do. There is a physical component as well to it. And when you can start to address it from that nervous system perspective, start to address it from that body perspective, you can be more in that ventral vagal, be more in the present moment without the stress of, oh my gosh, I have so much to do. How am I going to get it done? I need to work 1,000,000 miles a minute. Or that overwhelm, shutdown, paralysis of, there's too much to do. I'm never going to get it done. Therefore, I'm not going to do any of it. So we talked about that as a whole from the nervous system perspective in a really basic way. Again, lots and lots of information. If you've got any questions on it, feel free to stick them in the comment box or send me a DM. I have been studying this in a couple different certifications for the last few months and am absolutely in love with the nervous system and somatics. It's going to be a big part of my life moving forward. So any questions, shoot them my way. If I don't know the answer, I will find it for you, or I will tell you where to go. And then we talked about some very practical tips when you are in shutdown, right? That body scan, slow movement, and then external stimuli. I'm looking at my notes. And then we also talked about 2 ways to help with that energy when you are in sympathetic or that high anxiety, overwhelming amount of energy that you're just like buzzing. That's going to be, again, a body scan and being my personal preference, or intuitive movement of some kind, or vocalization. So I want you to really take something away from this and take one of these tools and just try them out. If you are brand new to connecting with your body and understanding that your body is not just this thing that holds your brain in place, this stuff might feel really weird as you get going with it. But I can guarantee you, actually guarantee you, that the more that you work with your nervous system and the more that you regulate it to have that flexible mobility between both the highs and the lows and the kind of status quo ventral vagal, the more easily you're going to be able to navigate not only your business ups and downs, but also the life ups and downs that just come with being a human. So I wish you well over the next week and a half. I will be here. This is not my last live of 2023, but I wish you well over the next couple of weeks as we continue to be in a really stressful time of year, closing up one year, starting another year, going through several more holidays coming up after months of holidays. So please take time to take care of yourself. And remember, if you are an entrepreneur or a business owner, or you are aspiring to be one, or you are getting over being one, whatever you're doing, if you have a yearning in your heart to be doing something differently, you have a yearning in your heart to do something differently for a reason. You don't just wake up one day and decide, I'm going to be an entrepreneur and go this crazy path that few other people do that is totally different than what I've been taught or grown up with or anything like that, for the shit of it. This is a crazy journey being an entrepreneur. So please give yourself grace, give yourself compassion, and please understand that you are freaking phenomenal. You can absolutely keep working through this. And regulating your nervous system is going to help so much with that. So any questions, stick them in the comment box or send me a DM. And I hope that you use one or more of these tools over the next couple of weeks.